Let's turn to Joel Rubin. He's the president of Washington's Strategy Group, a foreign policy advisory firm. He's also a former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State. Joel, welcome to the show. Let's widen this out. Let's bring this outside of the United States. You know, Israel suspended working ties with more than a dozen countries, basically everyone who supported this resolution. We're talking Russia, China, the UK, France. Is this a situation where we're looking at Israel against the world?
Thank you, Elaine. At this moment, when one sees a vote at the UN Security Council of 14-0, it's clear the international opinion is in one very clear direction, and that is against settlements construction. It's also, this resolution is also condemning incitement and violence by the Palestinians. So it was not an unbalanced resolution. That's what's being lost here. This is a resolution whose text has been offered in the past in different iterations. The U.S. has consistently opposed these kinds of resolutions when they were unbalanced. In this case, the U.S. felt like it was time to abstain and allow it to go forward, and that it had enough balance in it that the international community opinion, as expressed, needed to be heard.
So where do we go from here, and why is it causing such a furor?
Well, ultimately, this is a test for the Israeli government and the Palestinian leadership. Those are the two sides that need to figure out how they want to live together in the future going forward. The United States has always played a role of intending to be an honest broker, seeking to promote peace and reconciliation. There have been multiple activities over the years supported by the United Nations, by regional allies, Egypt and Jordan, to get peace moving. Right now, the process is in a dead spot. And so this attempt at the end of this administration is to show that there are still ways forward. There can be a vision. There can be parameters for a deal. But the two parties need to really lean in and take care and do this deal.
So how does China and the rest of the world view a two-state solution? There's been talk of this for so long, so many decades. What would it take, do you think, to actually get there, to push both sides, as you mentioned, to actually get something done?
Well, it's very critical that Israel in particular pays attention to China, to Russia, to the United Kingdom in this, and not make this just about an American position. China, for example, has been a long-time supporter of a peaceful agreement between Israel and the Palestinians, has been engaged in contacts with the Palestinians for decades, and this is not a new position. China as well, at the United Nations, supported sanctions on Iran, but supported the Iran nuclear agreement. So if we look at the language right now that we're seeing from the president-elect and that we're seeing from the Prime Minister of Israel, they are opposing initiatives that much of the international community has been supporting for years. And the question then is, what's the alternative? If there's not going to be a negotiated solution between the Israelis and the Palestinians, does that mean that the status quo, which is an Israeli military occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, will that continue indefinitely? It's not likely to calm the region if that's the case. There needs to be a vision and where they're trying to go. And if everything is torn up and there's no alternative vision, we've seen this region quickly ignite into violence, and it's a very dangerous situation, and we want to make sure that that isn't what happens.
And about 30 seconds left, but quickly back to the UN resolution. It's not like that can be rolled back at all. I mean, that's already a step forward. It's not like President-elect Donald Trump, once he is in office, can just turn it over.
That is done. The resolution is there. It's a new baseline. It clearly has upset Israel, and they're going to make what efforts they can, but they did not succeed in persuading any members of the Security Council to stay out of voting in favor of that resolution, except for the United States, who again abstained. The next administration, if it wants to roll it back, will have to get support to repeal, and that's not likely.
All right, Joel Rubin, as always, we appreciate your perspective. Thank you.